Honda's all-new 2022 Vezel, well, it's also known as the HR-V in many parts of the world. Not only is it redesigned, but it has a brand new powertrain. We'll go in depth a little bit today on that. Also, the 2022 Nissan Qashqai / Rogue Sport here in the United States has just been detailed, redesigned. We'll talk all about those powertrains. And the Japanese subcompact crossover market is really amping up. Guys, 100,000 subscribers, we did it. I don't know what else to say other than thank you. Lots of content coming for the channel. I'll talk more about the channel, I guess, at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. And let's get into the all-new Vezel HR-V. Now, keep in mind that the HR-V and Vezel are going to kind of separate, at least for the American market. America is supposed to be getting their own HR-V. I don't know how much different it's going to be. Honda hasn't communicated that, but it's a great little subcompact crossover. I think the front end looks a little bit like a Mazda CX-5 or even the MX-30. I like how the grille is color matched to the bumper. The coupe-like crossover in the back looks good. Interior is simple, kind of like most Hondas are, and that's fine with me. Now, the vehicle will be announced, I guess full announcement with full details and specifications in April, which is pretty much a month away, and released that same month, so April 2021. Now, it says first time for the world. No word on when the HR-V for America is going to be revealed and let alone available. But what do we know about this new Vezel? Hopefully it looks like this when it comes to America as the HR-V. Well, here's some equipment that's new for the vehicle. Now, again, this is translated from Japanese, so this could be standard equipment, but we know this vehicle is getting these certain things. So it's going to have hands-free access power liftgate, panoramic roof using low E glass, maybe low emissions glass on how they produced it. Newly designed air conditioner outlet with breeze outlet. So it's like just like a little knob on the vents that restricts the airflow is all that is. Hill descent control. It has electronic touch LED room lamp and originally developed premium audio. Now, as you guys know, what gets me amped up more than anything when we're talking about future vehicles or new vehicles coming out are powertrain. So we're heading over to the spreadsheet already. This new HR-V is getting a new powertrain. It's called HEV. It's like a :E::HEV. Okay, so I went back to my spreadsheet. I revised a couple things. I was overthinking it, like way overthinking it to figure out what is going to be this HEV. It pretty much already exists, assuming that Honda's just going to port it over from their Insight and put a drive shaft on it to give it the option of all-wheel drive to the rear wheels. So all it is, and it's really just a Honda Insight hybrid with a drive shaft to power the rear wheels. It's largely driven by the electric motor with 129 horsepower and 197 pound-feet of torque. At least that's what it is in the Insight hybrid. And we're going to get 151 horsepower or so out of that setup. Now for the HR-V in America, I don't know when or if we're ever going to see a hybrid HR-V here. I think Honda will hold out as long as they can until they're pretty much forced to have a hybrid here on the entry-level HR-V, but who knows? Maybe things change. In America, they get rid of the 1.8-liter naturally aspirated engine. They give us a larger, updated engine, a 2-liter inline-4. I believe we see this in the Civic right now. It's an optional engine. Again, front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, it will have, pretty simple, 158 horsepower and 138 pound-feet of torque. In theory, it has more peak horsepower than the HEV HR-V. It's just a lot. It's just, gosh, the Honda's lettering and wording there is a tough one for me. But the peak horsepower is a little bit more on the non-electrified option. However, peak torque is a complete joke in comparison, about 200 pound-feet of torque, maybe even more compared to this 138 pound-feet of torque, like we'll more than likely see here in the United States. I expect the new HR-V to get maybe around 35 miles per gallon here in the United States. Again, not electrified, and maybe 45 miles per gallon or so on the HEV, Vezel, HR-V, whatever it's going to be called in your region. And I'll leave it there. I think it's time for us to move on to the next piece, which is the Nissan Rogue Sport or the Qashqai. And we got pretty much the full unveil here. And I believe it's going to be coming to Europe by the end of spring, hopefully to the United States before the end of this year. And guys, I'll put the link down below so you can read all the things that could be of interest for you. The new Qashqai is a little bit wider, a little bit longer, a little bit more spacious. You can get 20-inch wheels on it. It has a big 9-inch touchscreen, and it has a 12-inch MID behind the steering wheel, which is similar to we see in the Rogue and the new Mitsubishi Outlander. It has a 10.8-inch heads-up display. When you top it out, it's going to be very, very well equipped, that is for sure. But like I said before, I like talking about powertrains. That just gets me really amped up. So we're going to go back to the spreadsheet on the new Qashqai. Again, since all we have is European and Japanese versions that have been communicated to us, I'll do my best to kind of extrapolate the United States version as well. So for Europe, they're getting a 12-volt mild hybrid. Most of the mild hybrids we see on the market are 48-volt, so not nearly as potent, but it is just enough for them not only to reduce emissions for Europe, but also to recover enough energy so that the electronics and stuff can run when the engine is turned off. And it has a 1.3 liter 3-cylinder turbo. You can get it in front wheel drive or all wheel drive. And you can get it in two different horsepowers with that same engine. 138 horsepower, 156 horsepower. And those are accompanied with 177 pound-feet of torque or 200 pound-feet of torque respectively. What I thought was fascinating is that you can get this little 1.3 liter turbo with a manual transmission with both the 138 horsepower and 156 horsepower variants. You could also get it with a CVT. The kicker though, or the kick in the pants, is if you want all-wheel drive, you can't get the 6-speed manual transmission with it, which is just a huge letdown. It's like, oh man, it would have been so good to have that little turbo with a manual transmission, all-wheel drive. Unfortunately, if you want all-wheel drive, the only way you can get it is with the CVT. Yikes. Now the Qashqai e-Power, they have an all-new e-Power for this vehicle. It is a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder. I believe it's a 3-cylinder. It's only front wheel drive, and I'm like, what? You have this range topping powertrain, fully driven electrically, but the power is generated by this gasoline engine, but it's front wheel drive only? Are you kidding me? That is really unfortunate. And since it's fully driven by electric motors, its horsepower is 187 horsepower, 140 kilowatts, and 220 pound-feet of torque. We don't know the battery size quite yet, but I'm expecting it to get 45 miles per gallon, maybe even more. So it's kind of frustrating, you know, for you guys in Europe, that if you want the range topping e-Power, you can only get in front wheel drive. If you want the manual transmission with all wheel drive, well, you can't get it. You can only get all wheel drive in the CVT. And what do I expect from the Rogue Sport variant here in the United States? Well, like the new Vezel / HR-V, hopefully it is announced this year and comes to America this year. I expect them to keep the same engine. I think they're going to go real cheap. It's going to look the same. It'll have the same options on it in terms of technology, screens, etc. But I think they're going to go cheap. I think they're just going to put the 2-liter 4-cylinder in it with the CVT, 141 horsepower or so, and no e-Power option in the foreseeable future for any vehicles under the Nissan brand in the United States. We don't have it in the new Rogue. I don't expect it to get in the Rogue Sport. We don't have it in the Kicks. I think the Note was discontinued here, so we don't get the e-Power from that either. And who knows how long it's going to be before we start seeing Nissan's electrification here stateside. That's not in the form of the Aria or the Leaf. But guys, I'll see you in the comments with the Vezel, with the Qashqai / and their American counterparts, HR-V, Rogue Sport. One last thing. I thought this was pretty cool. Is the revived Acura Integra Coupe a really good fake? So there are these images on Instagram circulating around that were based off of this concept. So this concept is just fan made, and it's a really cool looking concept. I've showed it on the channel before, but it was eerily similar to this camouflaged Photoshop vehicle. As I accidentally clicked that. Well, scroll down, you see a rear version of it as well. And Motor One reached out to Acura and Honda, and they're like, okay, are these real? Are you guys testing some sort of vehicle? And this is what Acura had to say. The spy shots you reference appear to be the work of a skilled Photoshop artist. While we appreciate the enthusiasm for our past products, the vehicle depicted here is not a Honda or Acura development prototype. And this is from Chris Naughton of Acura. Now, Motor One threw in the leaked dealer roadmap from a few years back. 2019, I guess, is when it leaked. And they are working on a new compact sedan. It would be cool if they call it the RSX. but ILX will be just fine. It doesn't have the same brand or name recognition as RSX or Integra. But yes, new compact sedan should be coming starting around $35K, which is interesting, right? Because it's about the same price as the new TLX, and it will have the Type S. Again, I don't know what this Type S is going to be. It could be a 2-liter turbo manual transmission, pretty much ported straight over from the Civic Type R. That would be the most logical choice, but they give it super handling all-wheel drive. Man, give us a manual transmission too. You know, the 10-speed is good. It's just not that sporty of a transmission. And so I would love to see them bring a manual transmission in this entry-level Type S Acura new compact luxury performance sedan. And guys, I'll leave it there. Thank you for 100,000 subscribers. I don't know what else to say. You know, it's almost like an awards ceremony where people have like a script. They have no, I don't have anything. I'm just super grateful. And you guys are helping me live like literally a dream life. I wake up, have breakfast with the kids. I get to stay at home with my family all day, make videos typically in the morning. I get to do car reviews on cars that I pretty much dreamed of as a kid. Like, this is a job I dreamt of as a little kid. You know, I grew up reading Car and Driver magazine, and I got to college and I stopped reading into cars as much, but you know, you never lose your passion and your love for something like this. So, went to college for exercise science, was a personal trainer for many years, and when I started having kids, it just wasn't lucrative enough. I just couldn't raise a family on that sort of sustenance. And so I got into the car business, started selling cars. I hated it, but I loved the cars so much. It must have been that little dream, that little seed I had as a kid, looking up to the editors and writers and journalists in the automotive industry, thinking that they had the absolute best job in the world. And here I am. I started this YouTube channel, not really knowing where it would go initially, but once I saw it growing, I turned all my focus, all my passion, all my desire into it. And with your guys' help, it's grown. It's supporting my family. I'm moving down to Florida to not only be closer to family and friends, but it'll allow me to review more cars, be in nice weather. I don't have to scoop the snow, and my back's like wrecked right now from scooping the snow a couple days ago. Like, I won't have to worry about that. I'll just wake up in the morning, hang out with the kids, maybe go to the beach, review a car, talk about some news. Guys, I'll leave it there. You guys have really made my dreams come true. 100,000 subscribers. And this is just the beginning. As human beings, we always want to grow. We always want to expand. And 100,000 subscribers is just like, you know, it's one of those nice pit stops on the way to your lifelong goals or journeys. And I don't know, guys, I'm probably just, I know I'm rambling, but I don't have the note cards like I'm getting an award or anything, and I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for all your support. Let's get to 200, 300, 400,000 subscribers and beyond. I know we're going to do it because God is good. I don't know what else to say. Thank you so much. See you guys later.